Hey, welcome back to It's Life. How you doing today, Oliver?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We're back for another episode. These are intriguing conversations that I hope individuals are really allowing to just permeate their mental space as we dig into life and what it entails.
Yeah, it's something that we made the title of the podcast, It's Life. And I think today is a good example, a good time to really get into what is that thing? What is life? We all are here doing something, but what are we doing? What is it? What is life? You want to kick it off or you want me to?
Yeah, that's a loaded question because you know at first take, someone hearing that question would be like, "What do you mean? What is life? It's the existence that we're living." But if we're honest, I think many of us may have varying definitions. Um, Especially if where you think you should be in life is not where you are. That could really paint life in a different lens. And so for me, if I'm answering that question for me, I would say for me, life personally is this outside of the obvious, the breathing and the being alive, from a physical standpoint. I think holistically for me, it is that never ending, if you will, until it does end journey of, and the journey for me, it strings together a set of experiences that I'm now attempting to make some sort of sense out of. And then those experiences, depending on what they are, actually help me categorize mentally what kind of life it is. So if I'm going through a series of experiences that are challenging, I might be like, man, life is challenging right now. So that's my definition. Or if I'm going through a string of experiences where things are really going great, I'll be like, man, life is great right now. And I think many of us probably do that. We don't look at life being the journey, which is comprised of that string of experiences. We look at the string of experiences and use that to categorize what we think life is at the moment. So that's a
Yeah,
good question because I don't know that many people really sit down and, okay, what am I doing here right now?
yeah, I think you nailed it. I think you nailed it. And I think that's exactly why we end up focusing on the moment in the sense of being either negative or positive or good or bad,
Mhm.
is because we're just right there as to how it is for me. What is it for me? And the only thing I would add to what you said is that the understanding that it's temporary,
Mm,
that
that's
it's
true.
temporary.
That's true. And that came out in one of our other episodes.
Yeah. And I think if we can't realize that it's temporary, because see, we have a tendency to allow the moment to dictate our actions in the sense of, because when we think about the totality or the length of this experience, we have a tendency to say it's short,
Mm.
implying that either we're going to use that, so that justification to either do something or not do something, and in many cases it's to do something that could possibly be, in some cases, a little bit reckless, or in some cases, not really fully understood, in the sense that haven't done all of the due diligence necessary to find out the value or the benefits of what we're doing, other than the fact that life is short. And it's like on a temporary basis. I'm gonna do this because life is short. And it's from that perspective, is everything comes up to us and we decide that we're going to do something because of that being short. And the difference between being short and temporary is that it never changes. Temporary never changes based on the circumstances that we confront, that we're dealing with at any moment. It's almost as though we use short to stimulate something that we want to do. And then other than that time, we don't think about it. We don't think about the length of time. It's just, it is what it is. And we just keep it on moving. But I like to say that it's temporary because we understand it in every area and every day that we are alive, that's all we have. That's all we have. And because of that type of urgency, allows me to live that moment in its fullest, each and every moment. And so it's intentional. Life begins to be intentional. Instead of reactive, we're proactive. I'm looking to make a difference. I'm desiring, I'm pushing with the intention of making a difference, because this experience is temporary. And then what is it that I'm experiencing on this temporary space is to make a difference. It's to put some purpose and meaning behind the moments. And so when I think about life, I think about it in this intentional sense. We've got to make it worth the experience, the time, because there's going to be some rough times. But it's the ability to be able to go through those rough times because you know that there's a value in that rough time. It's something that I've got to, something that President Obama used to say all the time. He said, it's a teachable moment. These are, if it doesn't feel good, that means that it's a teachable moment.
Yeah. And that speaks to perspective, because some people view life as, when you think about the concept of life being short, individuals who view life through that lens typically have there's one life to live kind of mentality. And that usually, for some people, it does push them to be intentional and to really look at how they are going to serve and how they are going to make an impact. But then for some people, what it does is push them to be selfish. And so they're like, man, I'm going to do me. YOLO. You only live once. So I'm going to do me. I'm going to do everything I need to do. I'm going to hoard everything I need to get. I'm going to get everything I can. And so it's about perspective, really, because if you're looking at it as, okay, the moments that I have now are the only moments. Yes, it's good to plan and it's good to project and it's good to look to the future, but the moments that I have now are significant because they're happening.
Absolutely.
So what should I be doing with those moments? And the answer to that question, I think, is what life is.
Yeah, when you talk about perspective, and I say it in that regard because here's the thing. The experience, if we, and this is where a lot of us are, and I think this is where I think we all fall short, though I think we all run into issue here, is that life is not, it's not selfish. It's not selfish.
Mhm.
And I think that's the thing that we got to realize is that this experience, no one does it on an island. No one does it alone. Nobody does it as an individual, but we tend to think that it's mine.
Yeah.
We all just participating in this thing. And it's a participation that the better we participate together with all of us in mind, the better we are off. See, I'm of the mindset, and I tell you where I've come from. I come from this mindset of teamwork. I'm a veteran. I come from a vet past. And I realized early on that there ain't nothing going to get done if we ain't going to do it together. It ain't going to get done. It's just not going to get done. And if you think about business in general, just outside his life, we don't do anything without others. There's no business that operates just because you said you have a business. Ain't nobody buying nothing. You ain't got nothing. So it's a perspective that I'm saying, is the perspective that we are intending or that we're living, is it the one that brings us the best reward or the best outcome or the best value? If we're going to look at it as being selfishly saying, I'm going to get mine, you got to get yours. See, that's where we are. I get mine, you get yours. And the thing about it is that's how we raise our children.
It is. And we do that sometimes. And sometimes it's not on purpose. Sometimes it's under the umbrella of self-preservation. So we have good intentions, right? But what our children do with that is not necessarily how we intended that to come across.
But that's the outcome that you really don't have total control over, though.
That's
and
true.
That all you can do is direct them. But here's the thing, and I don't know if we talked about this before, but as it relates to being an example, being a parental parent, children look and see before they listen. And if there's a contradiction between what they hear and what they see, they typically do what they see. And so as parental people that are having an influence, we have to recognize that and see what we see is where the rubber meets the road. My intentions that I didn't intend for you to do this the way that you did it. My actions indicated otherwise. See, I'm of the mindset that our actions demonstrate our motivations. We demonstrates our motivation. And so what we say and what we do, we can tell a person's motivation based on what they do, not what they say.
That's good. And I think I want to go back to something you said. I think it all ties into where the conversation just went as it relates to kids and what we do with our kids and the alignment between your actions and your motivation. When you're talking about life not being selfish and the ideology around, I got to get mine, you got to get yours kind of thinking, that challenges, in my mind, the thought that it's my life. You hear a lot of folks say, hey, it's my life. I'm going to live it how I want to live it. And I feel like what you just described and how the conversation just went actually challenges that thinking, that it's really not your life. It's life. You are a participant in it. Life is going to be life regardless of who you are and whether you here or not. So it's not your life. You're a participant in life. What are you going to do as a participant? And that goes to us, how we should be sharing this with our kids. Hey, listen, you're a participant in this thing. Your goal is now to be intentional about how you navigate the time that you are allowed to participate. And that a good portion of that, or the undertone, if you will, of all of that should be about service, should be about how are you going to impact other participants? Because it's not your life, it's life. And you're a participant in life. And when you are no longer a participant, life is not going to end. So it's not your life, because if it was your life, once you stop participating, life is done. So I think that's interesting that you would say that, man, because I'm literally, as I was saying that, I was processing that in real time. I'm like, wait a minute, so you really can't argue that it's my life. I think
temporary.
Yeah.
A temporary experience with this thing called life. That's what the human experience is all about. And that goes into so much that it really begins to dictate how we then begin to operate. Because see, you just put it in there because there's another step to that. And that other step is that now this navigation is an investment into the next generation so that they can build on what it is that we have invested. Because the only time you can invest into life, into humanity, is in the present. It's the only time you get to invest in it, because it was here before you got here. It's gonna be here after you gone. This is your time. You just said the navigation of it and putting it into, this is your time.
Yep.
What you gonna do with it?
That is good.
Without that idea, without that understanding, you end up in a situation where you're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out, thinking that it's a selfish thing. It's like, I've been taught basically I got to get out here and do it on my own, make it on my own, and don't stop to think that you ain't doing nothing on your own. You're not doing anything on your own.
Yep. And for those of you that are listening to this, there may be some of you who already had this revelation and are actually living that way as a participant and investing in other participants through your impact on humanity. But there are going to be a lot of folk, I dare say, if I was a betting man, a lot of folk who listen to this episode, they're going to be like, wait a minute, I never thought about it like that. And that's great, because now is your opportunity to really make a shift in your perspective. Because generally, and you'll probably hear me say this in other episodes, but your approach generally follows your perspective. So if your perspective is, it's my life, then you're going to live it selfishly as a participant, which now will leave no impact and will make no investment in life that isn't yours to begin with. And that is a crucial discovery to make, because what it will do, well, at least what we hope it will do for those that are listening, is now cause you to look at this very differently and cause you to begin to participate in a way that is impactful on humanity.
Yeah. It is this eye-opening information. I think back to my experience in learning how to navigate this experience was crucial, because it really began. You basically said some things that talk about perspective. It's crucial. It is crucial to understand. We often have the question, why am I here? What are we doing? What is this all about? And the things that we are turmoil, that things that cause us turmoil, and then we just die. And not knowing the value of this experience, it leaves this life empty.
Mhm.
It leaves it empty if it's not intentional. It's not with a purpose. And yet, no one, there's no class on teaching this.
Exactly. There
And
isn't.
and if you just have to be able to understand that there's another option.
Mhm.
So just because somebody has been teaching and telling you, and the thing about it's not teaching, it's basically they've just been just kicking the can, just moving it down the road. This life, and I can't say and stress to you too much how critical the family is to being able to get this interpretation or this understanding, because it's the source that continues this life experience. It's the it's the root of this experience is at the family core, and it will determine your perspective.
It will. That's key, because the family unit is responsible for the participants. And so, again, as in everything, right, you're going to be the sum of whatever the things that are being added.
Mhm.
So if that piece, and this could take us down a whole nother road, this might be a whole nother conversation, but if that piece is skewed for any reason, the perspective of the participant is going to be skewed. And the participants and what they do have an impact on life itself.
On the way in which you're going to view it.
Right.
Then it's going to determine as a result. Now we're going to get into some other stuff here, but it's going to determine your actions.
Exactly.
It's going to determine your actions. And then here's the thing. Those actions have a destination, whether or not you know it or not.
Wow.
Whether or not you know it or not, they have a destination.
Yeah.
And so to be able, I'm going to hit you up on the ends of a formula that I have. Your attitude will dictate your outcome.
Indeed.
And the stuff in between there is going to happen. It's going to happen. Now, that's the end of this process, the attitude and the outcome. In between there, there's steps that are going to happen that they are going to happen. Whether or not you intentionally do it, and that's why it goes back to the statement that you said, and based on what we want to do intentions for, our attitude will shape that perspective that and then will cause you to act in a certain way that will tell you that your outcome is going to be determined based on your actions. And it all started with your attitude.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. So we're participants in this thing. So if you're asking yourself, what is life? It's not yours. And the whole one life to live is it's not so much about I got one life to live, and so I'm going to live it how I want to, as much as it is I am a participant in life. And these moments that I experience in real time are significant, because the other moments are not promised. We can plan for them, but it doesn't mean that they're guaranteed. And so the moments that you have now, you should be aiming to be the best participant that you can be in life.
I think you hit it, knocked it on the shed, knocked it out the park. the message that I think we want to share with the audience today, is that we just here temporarily, and our investment is into humanity and into the future for the protection and preservation of humanity. Somebody did that for us.
Exactly.
Somebody did that for us. And the family is the representation. We're quick to say grandmama and granddaddy, they protected it for us.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
at great cost, might I add.
Oh, absolutely. The further you go back, the greater the cost.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, they're not here to see this experience that we're given. We're going to close this show. But one thing, I'm an example of this, in the sense that my mom died when I was 6 years old. And when I graduated from high school, I was her baby child. And she never saw any of her children. She bore 4 children. She never saw one of us graduate, gain any of those accomplishments, but she did it for us.
Mm-hmm.
She did it for us.
Yep.
And that's a selfishness that you can't even be. And she died at 37 years old. I'm here 57 years old. I live almost double her life.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only because of her.
It was because of how she participated.
Mm-hmm.
The type of participant that she was now paved the way for you all as participants to live, to participate in this thing called life. It's perspective, man. I love it, man. I really hope that those of you who are listening are really, what you may have to do is really go back and chop this episode up into a couple pieces, man, and really listen and let this thing get in your spirit, so to speak. Because understanding this and then living it out, it is a game changer in the way this thing plays out, man. We could really do some significant things together in humanity, looking at it from that perspective.
Hey, how can they reach you? How can anybody reach you?
Man, you can reach me if you're a social media person. You can look up my name, Oliver Marcelle, or you can look up Denoli, DENOLI LC, and catch me everywhere on social media. You can also email me if you need to. It's Oliver, my name, at Denoli, DENOLI.org.
Okay. And mine's Juan Lee. You can catch me at my website, Juan Lee, the author, where you can check out my book, Love Made Simple. And all of the social media, Juan Lee, the author, on Facebook. Also, I'm the founder of Clear Journey, where we support military families. So if you want to check me out there, also you can go at info@clearjourney.org. And if there's anything that you're looking for, I'm an author, a speaker, just hit me up. I'm open and available. Also, remember, it's life. And come back and spend some time with us. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Later.